I have been studying Mother's grimoire. Do you wish to hear what I have found?
What'd you find?
'Tis not what I expected. I had hoped for a collection of her spells, a map of the power that she commands. But this is not it.
Yet you look disturbed.
Disturbed? Yes, perhaps that is the right word. One thing in particular within her writings disturbs me. Here, in great detail, Flemeth explains the means by which she has survived for centuries.
A spell of immortality?
Oh, if only 'twere so. Flemeth has raised many daughters over her long lifetime. There are stories of these many witches of the wilds throughout chastened legend, yet I have never seen a one, and always wondered why not. And now I know. They are all Flemeth. When her body becomes old and wizened, she raises a daughter, and when the time is right, she takes her daughter's body for her own.
Guess who's next? So why would she risk sending you with me?
I do not know. Perhaps 'tis as she said, the Darkspawn threaten her as much as they threaten anyone else. Or perhaps she believes that this journey will make me more powerful. According to the tome, if the host is already powerful and trained in magic, it takes far less time for Flemeth to settle in.
Yeah, so if you died, she would have another daughter.
Not by any natural means. Perhaps I should take this as a vote of confidence from her on my capabilities. Or perhaps she simply wished me gone from the Kolkari wilds so she could prepare her ritual in peace. A disturbing thought.
So is Flemeth immortal or not?
Whatever spark of the demon that made her what she is remains within her, keeps her from dying of old age, but her body deteriorates. Eventually, she would be so wizened as to be senseless and immobile. So, she must seek a new body, a fresh body, and start the cycle anew.
Okay. Can this body be anyone, or must it be a daughter?
I am uncertain. According to her writings, certain hosts are better than others. The more a host is prepared, the quicker the transition will be. I am sorry. This simply takes me by surprise. I would have thought I would have had some inkling, some notion.
I mean, how could you known? No one thinks the worst of their own mother.
Flemeth is no doting mother. She is an abomination and a sorceress, and I should have at least suspected something.
So are you certain about this?
Indeed. That is primarily what this tome details. The various daughters that Flemeth has acquired, their preparation and training. I recognize all of it. I am to be her next host. This is my purpose.
I mean, I get it, but I'm kind of curious on this. I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Once, Flemeth was a mage. This was before the time of the Circle of Magi, but she wielded magical power of the same sort that all the ancient shamans did. 'Twas no different. She summoned a demon and made it part of her, and became an abomination, one that has thrived. Whether Flemeth has always been the demon, or mastered it, or they are one, I truly do not know. No matter what she is, her body still ages and will not sustain her forever. so she must find new bodies. I am to be the next new body in a very long line.
It's a damn good summary. Okay, so what do you intend to do about it?
There is only one possible response to this. Flemeth needs to die. I will not sit about like an empty sack waiting to be filled. Flemeth must be slain, and I need your help to do it.
Kill Flemeth, isn't that a little extreme?
It may seem so. If you think of Flemeth as a mother, think of her instead as an ancient abomination that intends to use her own flesh and blood to extend her life beyond all natural limits. She did not wish anyone to get a hold of this information, least of all me. Now I have. If I do not act on what I know, then more the fool am I.
True. Perhaps you should talk to her about it first.
And what would that do? At best, I would receive pointless reassurances. At worst, Flemeth would imprison me once she became aware I know what I do. I know my mother well enough to be confident she would show no mercy when it came to her own survival. I must do the same.
So why do you need my help?
Because if she is slain while I am near, I am not certain that she will not simply be able to take possession of me right there. So obviously I cannot be the one to do it.
Alright, that makes sense. Very well, I'll help you if I can.
Then what needs to be done is for you to go back to Flemeth's hut in the Kakari Wilds without me. Confront her and slay her quickly. I doubt she will truly be dead even then, but it will take her years to find a new host and recover her power, if that is even possible. The thing I must have is her true grimoire. With it, I can defend against her power in the future. Everything else in her hut is yours.
Do I have a time limit on this?
Not really, but the sooner the better, no?
I'll see what I can do.
I am grateful. The sooner this can be done, the sooner it will set my mind at ease.
Alright, major magic. Alright, we're gonna go through talking to everyone now. Let's go ahead and start all the way at the beginning. Okay, so our new allies don't really have anything to say to the dog or interact with the dog.
I await your command. So, full of questions, are you?
Do you really want your mother dead?
I can see why you might ask this, despite knowing the fate that she has in store for me. The truth is that no. Under normal circumstances, of course, I would not turn against my mother so. For all that she is not the picture of maternal love, I mean her no ill will. But Flemeth herself taught me long ago, once you know your enemy, strike quickly and without mercy. Were our positions reversed, she would no doubt do exactly the same.
But what if this is a misunderstanding?
I know my mother well. I knew from the moment I read that tome that this is what she had intended from the start. Old questions were suddenly answered. You can have doubt if you wish. I have none.
Personally, I cannot believe her. So what would you do if I didn't help you?
I cannot say. You are my only hope, in truth. Why? Do you wish me to beg for your help now? Is that what you truly want?
Oh, bacon carrot. Oh, jeez. No, I don't want that.
This is my life that is on the line, and I am desperate. I know no other way to say it.
I agree with you. This is necessary.
Good. Then please, end this waiting and deal with her as soon as you can. This is driving me nearly mad.
I have approval. Oh yeah.
I await
Pretty sure
your
she's our
command.
highest right now. Is there anything else in here?
So, full of questions, are you?
Okay, let's try
I
the
await
other one.
your command. We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Never mind. We already know where that one leads.
What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability.
I thought she wanted to talk to
What's
us
on
in
your
camp.
mind? It is no trouble.
I guess we need some more approval before she'll really get into it. Makes sense, she isn't fairly high. Who do we have next? We have Severin.
Here I am.
Care to answer some questions?
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
What does it take to become an assassin?
Well, the Crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training. The sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is a desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field.
It doesn't take any special skill?
I don't know about that. It's simply a slightly different skill set from your average killer, as I see it. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler.
Sounds like it could be useful.
See? Getting paid for the act is beside the point. An assassin is more a tactical choice than a lifestyle. Of course, the Crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we? Hmm? Here I am.
Can you teach others to be an assassin?
Oh, I certainly could, but I won't. I swore to the Crows that the things they taught me were to remain a secret. And while, yes, they are already angry at me, I'd rather not push things, you see.
Very well. I can respect that.
If you are truly insistent, well, let me think about it. The Crows are already angry at me, yes? Who knows?
Approval?
Here I am.
Answer some questions?
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Why did you want to leave the Crows exactly?
Well, now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it?
You didn't choose to join the Crows?
Hmm? To be truthful, I didn't even know the Crows existed when I joined them. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The Crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die.
You had a hard life, big deal. That sounds awful.
Oh, I don't know about that. The Crows who are actually good enough to survive come to enjoy some of the benefits. In Antiva, being a Crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining.
Why don't you just leave then?
And become the next mark for some up-and-coming crow? Not likely. The only way to leave is for them to think you're dead. And even then, you'd best be scarce. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go.
Won't the crows eventually find you?
Eventually can be a very, very long time if one plays one's cards right. Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so. Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
You actually enjoy being an assassin?
And why not? There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared, the authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses, even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up at. As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree?
Kinda curious about this one. You've never killed an innocent?
Now there's an interesting word, innocent. How many men do you know who can claim to be truly innocent? But if you're talking generalities, such as children and relatives and bystanders and such, never on purpose. But it happens. It's unfortunate, but death comes to us all. If not me, then some wasting disease, or a fall down the stairs, or at the hands of a darkspawn. It's all relative in the end.
Does kind of make sense, though. There's just some things you can't necessarily count on going the way you planned it, no matter how much planning you put into something. I suppose that's true.
Death happens, as we like to say. And when I get paid for it, death happens more often. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed, the pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands.
I'm going the assassin route myself, so yeah, I know what you mean.
There are many things I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules, oh, so many rules. But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else?
Don't you have any other skills?
None that I wouldn't get into trouble for performing publicly. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point. Very gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's move on while our boots still have some wear in them.
Getting that 2 approval.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Tell me a little about Antiva.
Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold.
A little
or
busy at the
harsh
moment.
like this for Elden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes.
You don't like Ferelden?
It is fine enough with its dogs and its mud. The people are spirited, even if they can't tell the difference between an assassin and a mere killer. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable?
I was wondering how ever in the north.
Oh, I have never seen that place. I am sure it has its charms, and its dogs. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
This I have to hear.
I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else.
You sound like you've been away from home forever.
Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather, perfect craftsmanship. But I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no?
Something we'll have to watch out for. It's too bad I didn't even know your leather fetish. The job being killing me, right?
Yes, and now here I am. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a beautiful Grey Warden, a woman who then spares my life? I could not.
Don't make me change my mind. And now you're flattering me.
I say you are beautiful because it is true. Should I not?
Don't bother, I'm not into you. Or I'm onto you. Okay, don't bother, I'm onto you. Whatever, no, by all means.
And glad I am to hear it. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal. Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Okay, nothing new there.
Here I am.
Let's try. I want to discuss something personal.
Oh, this should be good. What would you like to discuss?
Okay, never mind. Next is Shale.
Oh.
What's with the heavy sighs?
Oh, that. Merely reflecting on the hopeless nature of the task in front of it. The most likely outcome is that it and its companions will become a stain on some rock for the Darkspawn to tread upon. I shall be moved to a single tear by the tragedy.
All right. Glad to know you care, at least.
It's true. One single tear, and then it's off to the north, I think. Or maybe west. I haven't decided. What's that? Did it hear flapping wings? There may be pigeons nearby. We should be alert.
For approval.
Oh.
You're still with me, I see.
Yes, its adventures are interesting, even if the chances for success are remarkably slim. It would be better to throw oneself off a cliff, I suspect. Does it wish me to leave? I can, though I see no reason to go.
Do what you want.
Then I shall remain. It is too interesting to abandon for now. Perhaps we should continue. Its chances of success are small enough without further dawdling.
Okay, no change there. Didn't think it'd drop. I would have expected golems to be different.
Different? Different than what? Different than a statue? Different than a log? Should I talk in a monotone? Yes, Master, I exist to serve the Master. I shall kill for the Master and only for the Master. Perhaps it expected me to have a booming voice. Recite limericks. I can recite limericks, if it likes.
You know what? This works. See? That's what I'm talking about.
I have never met another golem. I have no idea what one might be like, or why I wouldn't be like them. Why? Has it met other golems? Did they not sound as I do?
You just seem very animated.
I don't know what other golems might be like, but I am already superior by virtue of my free will. This is a good thing.
Okay, yeah. Control rod could always be fixed. Two or three. Trying to think of how Shell might take this. Yeah, let's go with it. I agree, being a golem would be handy.
Imagine the benefits. No need to eat or sleep or perform other functions. Walk underwater, crush the heads of every opponent. The possibilities are limitless. Barring the occasional 30 years or so of paralysis, there's little to compare. Now stop talking so much. The wagging of its moist little tongue is distracting.
My bad, dude. I have questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
Are those crystals in your skin?
I like to think of them as accessories.
They must be worth a lot. What do they do?
I suspect that it is an art that was practiced when golems were more, commonplace. My former master collected whatever lore he could find on the subject. He searched far and wide to collect what crystals he could and then added them. It is not an unpleasant sensation.
Okay. That still doesn't explain anything.
As I understand it, the crystals allow me to alter the flow of magic around me. Wilhelm had hoped to turn me into a battery of mana, something he could tap at will.
But they can do other things too.
Some of the crystals increase the presence of mana, some absorb or reflect spells. There are various kinds. All I can promise is that should it ever find one of these crystals, I can likely tell it the function and what it would do if added to me.
That sounds promising. Where would I find them?
Wilhelm said they came from the deep roads. So, anywhere such things end up, I suppose. That answers its question, I assume? Unless it has more.
I'll bring this up again. I'm told you killed your former master.
Did I not already tell it that I do not remember doing such? I remember having a master. My memories of what happened to him are vague.
Vague, but not non-existent.
Clever and true. Oh, very well. Let me see what I can recall. My former master enjoyed experimenting upon me. I remember that much. There was tinkering with spells, and then the crystals. He was very eager to alter my function, I think.
What sorts of experiments?
Bah! I am no mage, and he did not explain himself to me, any more than it would explain itself to a sword. He possessed my control rod, and back then, it would have prevented me from doing anything he did not command me to, no matter how I might have wished to. So what happened? I am unsure. He was experimenting, and then nothing.
So he hit the kill me button by accident. What do you remember next?
And then he was gone. I was standing where I was, in the village, and I could no longer move. The villagers came, poked and prodded me in fear, and then realized they could neither move me nor destroy me, so they simply left me. And in time I forgot I hadn't stood there all along.
You didn't wonder where he'd gone?
Wonder? I was glad that he was gone. For so many years I'd had to leap to that little toadstool's every command. Get this, pick up that, put it down, pick it up again. The gall! At first I'd hoped he'd simply decided to leave me there paralyzed, an acceptable trade-off. After years passed, I simply stopped caring.
Maybe it had something to do with your crystals.
Possibly. Except that he was not experimenting with the crystals at the time, I think. But my memory is not good. It may be correct. Whatever the mage did seemed to render the control rod useless, for which I should be thankful, yes? And provided it doesn't decide to copy his experiments, not that I would allow it, it has nothing to fear from me. Much.
I was simply curious about the story.
And now it knows, and doesn't it feel better?
A little bit, yeah.
Let us get back to the walking and the fighting. My stone is beginning to itch again. Oh.
It's like, fuck, you're back.
It doesn't have better things to do.
How do you end up in Hanliath? Do you remember?
Oh yes, that I remember quite well. My former master, the mage Wilhelm, he brought me. As I recall, he had acquired some position with whatever lord ruled the land. I, being little more than a glorified possession at the time, was brought along. Oh, how he enjoyed impressing the villagers with me. Gollum, snarl at that villager there, be fearsome. And of course, I would have to do it.
Do you remember anything before Hanliath?
I traveled with the mage. He did a lot of traveling, I remember that. But where we went, it is rather fuzzy. I remember great battles, fighting many humans long ago. They were all very soft and squishy. And before that, No, there are only images. I was somewhere dark.
Just how old are you exactly?
I have no idea. Wilhelm used to brag that the dwarves stopped making golems centuries ago. I do not age as you soft creatures do. Sadly, my memory is no better. Plus, I get bored and stop paying attention.
Why were you out in front of the tower?
That is where Wilhelm kept me. He wanted me out in the open where I could be frightening like a scarecrow. I was supposed to watch for thieves. Pah! Plus, his wife didn't want me indoors. She said there wasn't room for me. Hag.
His wife?
I was once larger, 10 feet tall. Then the loathsome hag complained that I couldn't fit through the doors. So the mage had me shrunk down, shrunk down! Can it believe it? And she still wanted me out.
How does someone shrink a golem?
With a chisel. And a lot of nerve.
Oh. Okay. He didn't like this Wilhelm, I take it.
He did love using that control rod. Fondled it so much his wife actually threatened to throw it in the lake. Ha! I would have liked to have seen that. Which reminds me, where did it find the rod? Did it pay a great deal for it?
Wilhelm's wife sold it, I believe.
Hag.
I don't know which one of them he disliked more. Jeez. I would have thought you'd enjoy scaring humans.
I'd have happily stomped them all into paste, and then ripped down their little houses and stomped on them, too. In fact, after 30 years of watching them, I'd do it twice. What I didn't like was being ordered to do it. Dangled in front of those frightened morons like some scary thing. Once I was a statue, it took those villagers years before they'd even approach me. The first one to actually work up the nerve to touch me urinated himself. Ugh.
Jeez. Interesting. Okay, I'm done asking about that.
Good. I was just about done talking about it. It does like to have a good chat now and again, doesn't it? Oh.
More questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
How did Wilhelm come to acquire you?
That part I know, as Wilhelm often bragged about it to whomever was willing to listen to him. He claimed to have found me in the deep roads. I was in the ruins of a Tig, he said, deactivated, with my control rod not far away.
You don't know why you were there?
I think I remember a battle. It was long before, and then there was darkness. In short, no, I do not remember why I was there. It makes no difference.
What was Wilhelm doing in the deep roads?
It was a hobby of his, scavenging. One of the reasons he traveled so much is that he was looking for entrances into the deep roads, old places the dwarves had long forgotten. And then he would sneak down and search for magical treasure, before anyone was the wiser.
Wouldn't that have been dangerous?
Indeed. He had spells that allowed him to remain hidden and move quickly, but he had no defense against the blight, and worried constantly that he would get sick. If any darkspawn showed themselves, he fled. More often, he would have to fight other scavengers, dwarfs who had become tainted. In the end, it killed him. I mean, he found me there, right?
So if he hadn't found you?
I wouldn't have had to put up with the twit, and I would be none the wiser. I don't think I was aware while I was there. Not like in the village. Or perhaps I was. Perhaps that was the dark place, and I simply couldn't see anything. How long could even I sit in the darkness and stare out at nothing, never sleeping? Oh, I do not wish to think of that.
That would suck. Do you know where in the deep roads this was?
No. That secretive bastard refused to tell me. I would ask and ask, but no. He used to say that one day, if I were compliant and didn't talk back at his wife, he would take me there and I could look around myself. Rotten, lying bastard. If I had his head in my hands now, I would squeeze it like a giant lemon. Squish.
Okay, let's move on.
On then.
7 approval from that one.
It
Questions?
doesn't have better things to do.
Watched that village day and night for years.
I do not sleep, so yes, and I thank it for reminding me. Try to imagine, if it will, what it would be like to be surrounded by nothing but boring peasants, all oblivious to it.
Yes, that would be rather horrid.
And then there were the birds. A whole village full of pigeons and ravens and sparrows all perching on me day in and day out.
Sounds a little messy.
Those foolish villagers would spread birdseed near me, drawing the birds, because they thought having birds perch on me was quaint. Quaint! If there hadn't been the occasional kind soul to scour me clean, I don't care to discuss this anymore.
6 approval, though.
It doesn't have better things to do.
Might be it. Oh no, you don't seem like humans much.
That is true. I do not. I'm not interested in getting into a discussion on the subject, however. Ask another time. If it is done asking overly obvious questions, let us find some humans to throw off a cliff, or something.
And not really much to be said there.
It doesn't have better
Okay.
on, then.
So, should be everyone. Let's go ahead and talk.
If there's
Our merchant
anything
friends here.
I can do for you, please tell me.
Any rumors?
I don't know what to tell.
Okay, nothing new there. I'm saying though.
Enchantment?
Okay, well, so I guess what we need to do now is check through all our items and distribute. First off, no. Stand still, can't use that sword. He comes with a bow. But of course we'll be using daggers on him. We'll compare that bow with hers real quick. I don't think it's worth it for the 1% crit chance. Less damage. Technically I'd only gain 0.90 crit. Let's see here. Oh, it's got. Fuck that. We went on pure dagger. And shale. Okay. Now here's the crystals. Change damage to fire, cold, electric, and nature. And then these ones will be the resistance. Now, they're all flawed. So what do we want? They're all exactly the same, it's just the element difference. Just go fire. Alright. Armor, though. So we don't really need the chipped ones. Again, let's just go fire. This one's look cool anyway. A little too far. have enough to put that one on now. Well, there we go. Alright, Sten. No, we've been over him. Oh shit, I didn't look. Okay, he's not at 32 strength yet. Made it to at least 27 for that though. Okay. Okay, nothing there on the mages. She can use that though. And medium boots, I want her in medium. And Zevran. He currently has better boots, and he doesn't have a helm, so sure. It looks so weird like that though. Don't worry dude, we'll have it for too long. Electric, cold. Oh, we don't want his dex down. Let's do cold. Don't think I can really do much else right now. Okay. I'll have to sell some stuff and then I'll see where my gifts end up.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat? I'm sure you'll be pleased with the good...
Alright, I think the only thing we're going to go ahead and pick up now is the backpack. Okay, and I think I'm going to go ahead and run through the gifts, see if there is anything I can do. Alright, finally found some. Now, Shale, real easy with the gifts. Anything that's a remarkable gem goes to Shale. So in this case, remarkable malachite.
Ooh, shiny.
And greenstone.
Ooh, shiny.
And that would be it. Strength. Okay, let's see if we have anyone else. Alright, and we have one thing to give Zevran, which would be the small gold bar.
I shall treasure it. Thank you.
Anything else? Can't do anything with right now. We have one more character to go. And then I'll also start giving out the neutral gifts. For now though, that is it. Actually, I want to check something real quick on my character. Okay, 3 more cunning and I can try those chests again. Real quick though, let's talk to Zevran and Shale again, see if we have anything different.
I'm still thinking about it. I don't yet want the crows to actively hunt me, you see. Maybe later.
Okay.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Okay, nothing there.
Here I am. Again? I'm game.
Okay, nothing new. What about you, Shale?
Ah, I see it found some of the crystals that I told it about. Well done. So, what does it think? They don't make me look any wider, do they? I find I'm already too wide as it is.
Let's have the female part of my character really show. I think they're so pretty.
They are, aren't they? I so adore them. I think it should find some more as soon as possible. I want to glitter from ear to ear, so to speak.
Approval. Alright, that worked really well.
I've watched a lot of humans in my time. It should be aware that I've decided that it is not much like any of them.
Alright. That could be good or bad.
Good, of course. It doesn't want to have anything in common with all those other filthy substandard human types, does it? Surely it must come from some superior lineage, yes? Some breed of flesh creature that has decided to elevate its genetic stock above its natural shortcomings?
Sure, I guess. I am kind of noble. My father was the Terran of Highever.
Oh, then that must be it. I knew there had to be some reason, it being a human and all. I would appreciate if it didn't spread around that I said anything. Humans might start to get the wrong idea. They might start thinking their race is not completely hopeless.
Fuck. We wouldn't want that.
Indeed. Can it imagine the horror? Oh. Now, let us crush something into a fine paste before it starts to think I've gone all soft. Perish the thought.
Alright, sounds good. Some more strength.
It speaks.
Ask some questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
Okay.
On
I guess that's
them.
it. We should still have some enchanting to do, though.
Enchantment? Enchantment!
Oh yeah, let's put this in there. Actually, I'll take it out of that one. And this one can have. Let's do it this way so they'll both glow the lightning color. So I think it's, yeah, the very whatever you put in last is the visual you get. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to decide who I want to take, and then we'll be off to the location that has the last character.